30% increase in water utility rates will not be imposed. A 3-member committee to reconsider the proposed hike in rates. JVP charges that the 2017 budget has slashed allocations for several key ministries.
මිලියන් 21,393 සමස්ත කෘෂිකාර්මික ක්ෂේත්‍රයට අදාළව ගත්තොත් කප්පාදු කළා තිබෙනවා. මාසෙකට ලක්ෂ 210ක් වියදම් කළා කෘෂිකාර්මික අමාත්‍යාංශයට කුලියට ගොඩනැගිල්ලක් අරන් තිබෙනවා.
Russia's economy minister detained, investigated over alleged bribe linked to a big oil deal. Minister Mangala Samaravira says that the result of the US elections was unexpected.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. We start off with a look at your top story. Minister Chandimavira Kodi revealed in Parliament today that the Cabinet has decided against the 30% hike in water tariffs.
We discussed the proposed 30% hike in water rates at the Cabinet meeting. It's inappropriate and unreasonable. Accordingly, this hike will not be implemented. On one hand, the water board is something that should function on its own income, and on the other hand, they should provide water on a concessionary rate. By increasing the rates, you can earn an additional income of 1.5 billion rupees. We already have people who cannot pay their water bills. How can we charge this amount from them? How much can we receive from that? We have received various ideas and proposals on this, including ones that involve raising the prices for those who can afford it and providing concessions for the rest. We considered all this and reached a decision on behalf of the people.
Meanwhile, Minister of City Planning and Water Supply Rauf Hakim said in Parliament today that a committee was appointed to reach a decision on water tariffs.
The Cabinet discussed the proposed amendment to water tariffs this morning. At the meeting, a decision was made to appoint a 3-member committee of ministers to reconsider the hike in water utility rates. I should also comment on a monthly service fee. We had taken a decision to increase the fixed charge for households to 250 rupees from 50 rupees. We can issue a statement if we will make changes on this matter after the subcommittee arrives at a decision. No matter how little water a household uses, the board still has to maintain the entire water system. Thereby, a minimum monthly service fee from all consumers will be charged. We must also mention here that the fixed rates when comparing with electricity and telephone tariffs are significantly low.
Addressing two separate events in Colombo today, Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake commented on the increase in traffic penalties proposed through the 2017 budget.
You saw the fuss that was made by the private bus owners. Now they came and said that they want to strike. We said no problem, go ahead and strike. Now today it was taken up in the Cabinet, and the Cabinet decided that we'll be imposing even further stringent laws on 3-4 areas, not on everything. There was a misunderstanding. They were saying 2,500 across the board. No, that was not our intention. Our intention was a person who drives without a license, the present fine is only 500 rupees. So we want to ensure that it made 25,000 rupees. I mean, their proposal was that we charge 1,000 rupees for a person who drives less than 18. Why should a person be driving less than 18? I mean, a fine, crossing on a extra line that is there or park in a wrong place, we don't expect you to pay 2,500. Even though the government is poor, we will like it, but that's not our intention.
The Finance Minister elaborated on the matter during an event organized by the Chamber of Commerce.
99% said, please don't change that. We are not in the intention of changing at all. Driving without a revenue license or parking in a wrong place, no, that doesn't warrant 2,500 at all. Our intention is to ensure law-abiding society, and we will ensure that maximum fines are imposed to ensure that lawlessness is maintained in the country.
The minister also elaborated on charges that had been levelled that the 2017 budget interferes with the activities of the Central Bank's Monetary Board.
Central Bank is the creature of the Finance Ministry or the Constitution in order to do certain monetary measures. But the Central Bank has failed miserably on many matters. They have been politicized. They need to be a regulatory force. They don't need to be dabbling in how to run a country. They should be monitoring the government's activities that have been done on the monetary matters. So we are certainly restructuring that and ensuring things go on, because what is there sometimes is undesirable. We need to ensure that the economy is put on a firm footing and a safe footing, and ensure that everybody gets equal treatment through that process.
The Minister of Finance also commented on the state of tax collection in the country.
You need to know, other you think with the BMWs and the houses and the hotels coming up that you will have hundreds of 100 billionaires. No, there's only one person who's paying 100 million. That is the sad situation. We have 23 million people. We have only 43,000 corporate tax files. We have only 21,000 VAT files. We have only 25,000 NBT files. Country has only 9% of tax files compared to the population that we have. Isn't this disgraceful? This is where we call upon a slight change in the attitudes that are there. You call and ask as much as you want from the government, but don't pay nothing and ask for everything.
Deputy Minister Nishantha Muthuhettigama commented on the 2017 budget proposals at a media briefing today.
After the budget, people walk up to us and say that there are no concessions given to them. Prior to the budget, we were able to visit the village. However, now, following the budget, we cannot step into any village. Due to huge fines imposed on vehicles, people will not be able to pay these taxes. The number of people entering prisons will increase. As the SLFP, we have forwarded our suggestions, but we do not know where they have been included. Last time, it was 3 amendments to the budget, and we invite the Finance Minister to amend the budget this year, rectifying those errors.
Today marked day 3 of the debate on the second reading of the 2017 budget. Here are some of the excerpts from the budget debate.
Over the past decade, the previous administration took loans in a manner which is not usually accepted by the world at large. You cannot determine the path of this government based solely on the budget. We have presented this budget to strengthen the local economy and boost foreign investments. We have created a budget which will provide employment to thousands of unemployed youngsters. They expect a revenue of 1,086 billion through VAT. This accounts to 60% of the total tax revenue. Taxes imposed on external trade is yet another indirect tax imposed on the people. They expect to earn a revenue of 400 billion through this, which accounts for 18% of the tax revenue. When we calculate everything, 78% accounts for indirect taxes, while income tax accounts for 22%. Minister Ravi Karunanayake says that 60% of the taxes will be direct. However, this is similar to a bus displaying a board for Kataragama and then travelling in the complete opposite direction. The government has slashed 330 billion from the funds allocated for education. They have slashed a further 13,106 million from health and 11,872 million from the Environment Ministry. They have slashed 2,560 million from vocational training, 7,068 million from women and children's affairs, and a further 21,393 million from the agriculture sector. However, they have approved a proposal to allocate 21 million a month to pay for the rent of the new agriculture ministry building.
The
port that they called a white elephant was created on an investment of $360 million. However, they sold it for $1.1 billion. That is a profit of over $600 million. The Eastern Terminal is the only terminal we have which can cater to the large naval vessels in the world. However, even the subject minister does not know that steps have been taken to sell this terminal. I believe that there are already around 18 to 20 parties that have expressed interest in purchasing the Mattala airport. There has been a 25% tax imposed on internet services. If possible, at least exclude the students and teachers from this tax. If this is implemented, then there will be difficulties when implementing policies that relate to the tabs that will be given away free of charge.
The 2017 budget and the bond transaction was a topic of discussion at several media briefings today.
Let me tell you the latest situation of the bond issue. The respective financial institutions such as commercial banks and primary dealers were able to obtain temporary loans starting from the 1st of April to 8th of April 2016. During that week, they have obtained loans worth 66 billion rupees. But the former central bank governor has changed the interest rates before the loans were obtained. What did they do with the money they obtained? Those bonds were sold to the government. Right after that, those were sold to the EPF. The father-in-law gave his son-in-law the money using all his powers. But when they go to the courts, they will deny it. That is the usual scenario, because they have given money to some other banks as well. This is why we were talking about this continuously. We will never arrest the rogues, nor will we recover the money if we go to court through the Attorney General. A powerful commission should be appointed to look into this matter. A newspaper will be launched soon. A radio and a television station will also be launched in the near future with this money. But why? This is because they are planning to enter politics through the media. It is our government in 56 that established the Employee Provident Fund. What is this government saying now? We allowed employees to obtain loans to buy land against 30% of their EPF funds so that they could build a house. The facility was also available for medical purposes. But the budget 2017 has cancelled this facility. What are they expecting by stopping this? When someone wants a housing loan and then the loans against EPF is stopped, they will have to approach private banks to obtain loans on high interest rates under strict conditions. This budget clearly shows how policymakers lead luxurious lives by burdening citizens. Now they are playing around with public funds with close associates such as Arjuna Mahendran and his son-in-law. The country is losing a large sum of money. They have let these rogues steal this money at their own will. A type of environment is created where the citizens of this country are burdened by these. 3 employees of the Vennapur branch of the Lanka Development Bank have been suspended and 1 employee has been fired for allegations of irregularities within the bank and its transactions. The decision, which was approved by the board of directors of the bank, was made by the acting general manager of the bank. The irregularities were reported to have taken place on the 29th, 30th and 31st of December 2015. Accordingly, fixed deposits worth 51 million rupees were recorded on these 3 days, out of which 46 million rupees were reported to have been given out as loans. However, no such transactions had actually taken place. The main accusation against the suspects is that they had transferred the capital investment of a 5 million rupee fixed deposit to show the balance between the 51 million rupee false deposits and the false loans of 46 million rupees. It was revealed that the intention of the irregularity was to show a record of profitable transactions under the leadership of the former chairman of the Lanka Development Bank. In March 2016, the bank's internal audit committee advised the former chairman of the bank to take action against the 6 suspects who were identified to be involved in the irregularities. However, the former chairman had terminated only 2 banking assistant employees of the Vennapur branch of the bank. Among those suspended from their duties today was a member of the bank's senior management as well as a manager of the branch and a senior branch executive. A member of the bank's business development section was terminated from the service. A member of the senior management who was suspended engaged in a fast within the premises of the bank's head office. I think extensive investigations should be conducted in this regard. I think the central bank, the Ministry of Finance and politicians should be held accountable for what has taken place.
A ceremony was held in Colombo today to mark the 30th anniversary of the Ravaya newspaper.
The ceremony was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. A large group, including politicians and civil society activists, were in attendance for the event.
The people were expecting heavy rain, but the government was only able to deliver tiny drizzle. While maximum burden is being thrown upon the shoulders of the common man, ministers and parliamentarians continue to receive maximum benefits for themselves, which has been a key factor that fuels the frustration of the people. This shows that the leaders of the good governance government have failed to control the greed of the parliamentarians. The aspirations of 6.25 million people who voted for me are unlimited. Victor Ivan in his speech said that the people were expecting heavy rain, but what was delivered was a drizzle. With those same expectations as the person who you elected as president, I fearlessly say that drizzle wasn't just a drizzle, it was a welcome drizzle. There are several reasons for that. The armed group known as AWA, which has been terrorizing the north, caught the attention of the legislature once again today.
Why is it that the cabinet spokesperson had said that the military personnel are connected to the AWA group? What facts did he base this statement on? Is this the stance of the government? The State Minister of Defence contradicts him by saying that there is no connection between the military and that group. I wish to know the stance of the government in this regard.
AWA is a group that has been harassing and exporting money from the people in the north. They are a motorcycle gang. Honourable Speaker, this is why I say that it is not controlled by the military. However, the statement made by Minister Rajitha Senaratne is not entirely wrong. Of the 3 persons arrested from the AWA group, 1 had served in the military. Several ex-servicemen may have worked in this group. This is being investigated.
Back in
2011, an altercation had taken place between 2 factions at an event at the Amman Kovil in Inuel, Jaffna. One faction had banded together to attack their opponents. Later, the group had come together to commit violent acts in Jaffna. That is when they have taken the name AWA. The person behind this movement is one known as Kumareshratnam Vinodan from West Inuel, which is located near the Amman Kovil. He is currently in remand custody. A majority of the membership are between the ages of 18 and 25. We have identified 65 members in this group. 38 persons have been arrested and 6 are being investigated. Legal action has been taken against 32 persons. We are searching for a further 8 persons who are linked to the leadership of this group. They are not provoking acts of terror in society.
ත්‍රස්තවාදී ක්‍රියාවන් වලට කිසිසේත් පෙළඹීමක් නෙවෙයි තියෙන්නේ සමාජය තුළ.
The fact that Cabinet spokesperson Minister Rajitha Senaratne making a statement linking the group with the military is a serious one. The Minister of Regional Development making a statement says that if there is such a link, then it was created by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. That is even more serious.
You raised it in your question.
I have not been given a proper answer.
He is raising a policy question. This can be elaborated in future discussions.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Mangala Samaravira says he personally preferred a different result at the US presidential election.
In an interview with Daily Mirror, Minister of Foreign Affairs Mangala Samaravira says, as a person who fought for liberal values throughout his political career, he would have liked a different outcome at the US elections. However, the minister added that the American people have decided who should lead the United States of America and that he will certainly work with President-elect Donald Trump and his administration to further strengthen bilateral ties between the 2 nations.
A workshop hosted by the Ministry of City Planning and Water Supply with the objective of promoting water reuse commenced in Colombo today.
The workshop, which has been organized in collaboration with IORA or the Indian Ocean Rim Association and the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, is themed Promoting Efficient Water Management through Water Reuse and Alternate Water Supply.
We consider ourselves somewhat ahead of our other neighbors in the region in our efforts to provide the required quantity, quality, and also addressing the affordability and accessibility of water to the population in Sri Lanka. And when it comes to sanitation, we are far ahead of our neighbors in providing proper sanitation facilities to almost 95% of Sri Lankan population.
If we leave at least part of our human population without adequate access to safe drinking water, it will certainly hamper not only the health of people but also the ongoing development around the world. Therefore, we need to find better ways to manage water if we are to meet today's demands and tomorrow's challenges. This decline in construction of new capacity has occurred in spite of continuing projections for increased demand, suggesting that the strategy of fulfilling increased water demand by building large dams and aqueducts to capture water from freshwater streams is reaching its limit. Together, we need to promote greater use of water and alternative water supply for planning future water supply systems.
The workshop, which was attended by several foreign delegates involved in the field, will come to a close tomorrow.
Several villagers today received access to clean drinking water under the Gum at the Nation Building initiative.
Gum at the Savia.
Every day, villagers of Kumbukwewa in Padaviya walked almost 6 kilometers in search of clean drinking water. The long walk was just one problem facing 850 families in this village. The water they found was contaminated and it came with a price tag. Water, the very lifeline that these villagers struggled to reach, was silently aggravating the chronic kidney disease in the village. 33 villagers are suffering from the disease, which is widespread in north-central and northeastern parts of Sri Lanka. With the Gamma the National Building Initiative, villages of Kumbukwepa Padavia received access to clean drinking water today. Access to clean drinking water has not only fulfilled the basic human right for the village of Kumbukwepa, but also instilled hope for a healthier younger generation. Locals in the area will no longer have to live with the fear of kidney disease. The Gamma the Nation Building Initiative was supported by the Sri Lanka Navy and the Presidential Task Force on Prevention of Chronic Kidney Disease. The people in this country will always remember the efforts of Gammadda and the Navy to make our lives better.
The Sri Lankan Navy has been able to earn 2.33 billion rupees for the government to date since taking over maritime security operations from Avant-Garde Maritime Services Limited last year.
The Sri Lanka Navy took over the onboard security team operations from Avant-Garde Maritime Services Limited on the 13th of November 2015. The Sri Lanka Navy said that during the course of the year, it had earned an income of 2.33 billion rupees for a total of 6,646 ship movements. It added that Galle and Colombo operation centres have carried out 6,150 and 496 movements respectively, averaging approximately 544 moves per month. Operations of Avant-Garde Security Services Limited, which sparked massive controversy surrounding its transactions during the previous regime, were taken over by the Sri Lanka Navy following a special directive issued by President Maithripala Sirisena. Thereby, with the annulment of the previous agreement, Sri Lanka Navy was entrusted the task of providing security to merchant vessels and supplying services to security firms involved in providing onboard security for merchant ships. Since the new takeover, the Galle and Colombo operation centres have been given authority to receive, hold and issue weapons, ammunition and other related equipment belonging to foreign as well as local onboard security teams.
Minister Sajith Premadasa laid the foundation stone for a Udagammanaya in Patalayagama Hambanpata today.
We will not tamper with your right to life for any reason whatsoever. There was a time where the money in the treasury was used to fatten the coffers of the rulers, to protect the rulers and to enrich their lives. It was during this period that the human rights of the people were denied and the rights and privileges of the rulers were strengthened. Today we have not given priority to the rulers. We have been advised to ensure that the rights of citizens are fulfilled and protected.
Officials toured Bandarawala today to probe into the issues that have arisen as a result of the Uma Oya multi-purpose development project.
The Bandarawala Divisional Secretary was accompanied by officials from the National Building Research Organisation during this inspection tour. We have informed the Uma Oya project about the issues pertaining to water and the damages caused to the houses in the area. We have requested for 2 immediate technical reports. Based on these reports, we will have to decide on who needs to be evacuated. We must direct them to temporary houses on rent. We need to identify as to who needs to be removed. We believe that following the completion of the Uma Oya project and once the leak is sealed off completely, the water issue will be resolved to a certain extent. This too will come about after extensive rainfall. The tunnel boring machine is placed here. The previous issue has arisen again because of the soft nature of the soil in this area. There is a leak here as well. They cannot put a stop to it immediately.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care.
Good night.